Okay.
Having a hot flash?
You need to get something stronger, John. They've got...
Play a song? It was my computer. It's fixed now.
Okay. Okay, then if we're all organized over there, we'll call the meeting of the Committee of the Whole for Tuesday, December the 17th to order. Are there any changes to the agenda? Seeing none, I'll move the agenda be approved as presented. Those in favor, opposed, motion's carried unanimously. Our first order of business is a delegation from the Chamber of Commerce. Madam President.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you for welcoming me here today, Mayor and Council and City of Canmore, or Town of Canmore staff. So this presentation came about because the Chamber was met with Sally Caudill and Eleanor McClett to discuss the role of the Chamber of Commerce within the Town of Canmore, and I guess just try to really identify what our priorities are as a entity that supports business in our community. And we were just trying to, I guess, get more clarity on what differentiates us from some of the other organizations in town that are also here supporting businesses. So from that, we've developed a new strategic plan and was asked to share that with all of you today so that we can update you on what we've been up to as an organization, and also just again help you guys to be more clear also on what our strategy is moving forward. So we've come up with a clear vision statement, which, you know, again, I think had been discussed previously, but I think that we just needed to get it into a document that felt like we could work with and move forward. So our vision as the Bow Valley Chamber of Commerce is to create a thriving, sustainable, and successful business community in the Bow Valley. And of course, because we stretch from Cochrane all the way up to Lake Louise, we want to make sure that we're covering the entire Bow Valley area. And also our mission, elevate, connect, and advocate for the Bow Valley business community. And again, I don't think that those are new to any Chamber of Commerce, but again, I think that it was important for us to be very clear on what our role is and what we're doing within our community to support our businesses.
It's very clever how you work that word thrive into your vision. Coincidental.
Right, maybe. Seems to somehow have worked its way in there, but yes, it wasn't purposeful.
Okay.
I guess maybe it just seems to be a popular word at the moment.
Right.
So the three pillars, elevate, advocate, and connect. So we came up with some specific goals within each of those pillars in order for us to, again, have a lot more clarity about what it is that we're doing. Under the elevate, our mandate is to provide educational opportunities that might otherwise not be available for our business community, to add benefits through our membership to our business community so that they can, again, get more affordable services within our community, and adding in some member-to-member benefits as well. Facilitating mentoring and programs that help our business members to grow, and there's that word again, thrive. So offering educational seminars 3 times a year. We've already offered a few throughout this year. So we did a cyber liability workshop, we did a QuickBooks online training workshop, and then we've done some business boot camps and learn at lunches, offering human resources and employment law seminar, and also some product pricing for businesses to understand how that affects their bottom line and helps to keep their customers coming back. The value-added benefits, we have several discount programs that are offered as we are affiliated with the Alberta Chamber of Commerce and with the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. So we have a number of affiliate programs. The probably best known one is our benefits program. So it offers small businesses that might not be able to afford to pay for a benefits program. It allows them the ability to also afford to do that, and then through ATB and Shell and UPS offers other kinds of discounts to our members. We also have our member-to-member discounts. So that's all done internally within our chamber, and it's something that we just extend to our members to be able to offer a discount or a better price for our members, and it's more of an exchange. And then also trying to work on increasing the number of value-added benefits for our members. So again, by promoting member-to-member benefits and also connecting with other organizations that will allow us to, and we can do that, we can offer within our organization our own affinity programs or affiliate programs, or go again through the Alberta Chamber or the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. So it's a pretty broad stretch of reach that we have to be able to offer those benefits to our members. And then mentoring, so again, partnering with the town and others to get more guidance for our entrepreneurs to succeed, and working on things like, Eleanor is not here, but the Smart Start program, which we're now working on with the economic development team to bring to the town to help support small business development. And then offering mentorship programs. So again, that's part of the Smart Start program that we have slotted to happen in 2020. But it is also something that we want to, through the chamber, just have some affiliate mentors that we can send our businesses to for business support if they need it. So Connect, again, organizing events that allow our business community to be able to connect with each other and get to know each other and the businesses and what they have to offer. So our Bevies in Business is a very popular event. It happens generally once a month with the exception of during the summer and in December. And that essentially gives our businesses an opportunity to host an event within their business and bring in other members and other people within our business community to connect and do some networking and find out more about each other and what their businesses are all about. And then marketing. So in addition to the strategic plan, we've also done a marketing and communications plan and also a membership growth and retention plan. So those are all part of the work that we've been doing these past few months. We're updating our website, so right now it's going through a complete overhaul, but again, once that's done, we'll be doing regular updates on events that are coming up. We're sending out posts on social media. We've got it set up on Hootsuite, so it's going out to all of our main social media platforms, and then we're also posting events and promotions on Facebook. We're doing some advertising through the Craig and Canyon, Mountain FM, Rocky Mountain Outlook, so local advertising opportunities. We're sending out some newsletters and event updates twice a month, and then doing membership recognition. So our business recognition awards, which will be in the spring of 2020. We're in the process of planning that right now, and that is to help recognize the contribution that our businesses are making to the community. And then the membership growth and retention plan, which I mentioned, is really about just more engagement and working on retaining our members, making sure that they're aware of the benefits that we offer, encouraging them to attend our events, and hopefully, just growing that so that we can continue to forge ahead as a strong entity in our community. And advocate, of course, another very important pillar of the Chamber of Commerce in any community is to act as an advocate for our businesses and to identify and understand the issues, the core issues that are at play for our business community, and bring those to the attention of our business community, bring them to the attention of the town of Canmore or any other political entities that need to be made aware of whatever is going on, or any other organizations that need to be made aware of what's going on. And again, educate ourselves, try and educate our businesses. Through our Conversation Cafe, we allow our businesses to come in and again have a conversation about various issues regarding whatever might be important to them. So, you know, one of the ones I know that has come up is, you know, in the past is the signage thing, having that conversation, trying to find out what's more important to our businesses and how we can offer a voice to them. Again, local, provincial, and federal engagement on that level. And then working with the Canmore Business Alliance, which is the alliance of the Bow Valley Chamber of Commerce, the Tourism Canmore Kananaskis, BODA, the CHLA, and the BIA. And right now we're meeting twice a month. Sorry, every 2 months. And then finding out what's important to our members by surveying them a couple of times a year, at least once a year, but hopefully a couple of times a year, just to find out more about where they're at. And then just keeping up to what's going on in the community, finding out through, you know, updates on what's going on at town council, various things like the land use bylaw that are being updated and changed, and just making sure that we're also aware of how that impacts our business members. And then again, trying to communicate that clearly to our business members and get them to voice their concerns and opinions. Look at that.
Wow,
Right on time.
nicely done.
Amazing.
Does anyone have
You
any
should
questions?
give workshops on that. Oh, no, come on. Thanks very much for the presentation. I have just a couple of questions myself, and perhaps other councillors do as well. But at this time, just off the top of your head, do you know how many members there are, like in Banff, Lake Louise?
We do not have a lot of members in the Banff Lake Louise area. I think we're now at about 30. And it was one of our goals for this year, but we also started out as a board with 2 business members in Banff, and both of them had to step off the board for various reasons. So at our AGM in January, we will be trying to recruit a couple of board members again from the Banff and Lake Louise community, just to, again, help us to expand.
And has there been any contact with the mothership and Chamber of Commerce about that issue? I recall when the chamber was being created here, that was kind of an expectation or a prerequisite.
The challenge there is that the Banff Hotel and Lodging Association works very much as a Chamber of Commerce in Banff. And so we've been trying to figure out what that overlap is. And I know that obviously there are many businesses in Banff that don't fall under their kind of umbrella. But I think that it's just trying to distinguish what our value is for the Banff Lake, and again, Banff Lake Louise Tourism is also a very strong entity in that region, and it's trying to help them to understand what we bring that is maybe not covered by either of those organizations. We'll get there. It just, our goal this year was to try to expand that, and then with the board members with their feet on the ground in that part of the community, it was just a little more challenging.
Mm-hmm. But the membership here in Canmore continues to be quite
Yeah,
strong.
we've got about 260 Canmore members, so that's great, and we're very happy with that, and we're going to continue to work on growing that as well.
Great. Councillor Sanford, do you have a question?
Yes, Mayor Borman. Thank you for your presentation, Ms. Cooper. I just had a question for you around the consideration of the cultivation of the workforce. So all of these businesses would likely have people that work for them, if it's retail, but I mean, you probably have a lot of home-based businesses too that work out of their home and they don't have a workforce that they rely on. But is there some consideration in your plan for cultivating that workforce that is needed for those businesses?
So we do actually have an event coming up in the new year to talk about employment and recruitment. So that's actually an issue that did come up from our business members as a concern, is employee hiring, retention, and trying to keep people within the community. So we have a presentation being given by Wendy Simpson, who's just, she's Active Edge Business Coaching. She's just completed some training in human resources and has expanded her business into that particular area. But she's also, we're also bringing in I want to call her a lawyer. I'm not 100% sure if she's an actual lawyer, but she represents people coming into Canada that would like to stay here and work. So she works on the immigration, I guess, side of things and helping to make sure that the employees that are coming here to work for even a short period of time have the proper visas and things in place to be able to do that. So yes, it's a very real concern, and I know it permeates every aspect of our community, and it's important to address that. And yeah, so we've got that one coming up, and we'll definitely look at adding a few more in that realm in the new year as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
A less pressing question I have is in regards to a report on social media. Just curious what a Hootsuite is.
So Hootsuite is a social media platform that allows you to bring all of your social media platforms together. So you have one post that you send out to all of your or all of your social media platforms. So it goes out to Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, everything, all at once.
Okay, that explains why I see those things everywhere. Okay, are there other burning questions? Thanks very much for being here and presenting. It's always good to get an update on something as integral to the community's success as the Chamber. Thanks
Thank you.
for the work you're doing and your fellow board members. And that's as not only the mayor, but as a member of the Chamber.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Thank you to everyone for listening to me today, and hopefully I'll be able to bring something more to you next year.
Excellent.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Great, and to you as well. Move on now to the minutes. Are there any errors or omissions? Minutes of Tuesday, November 19th. Seeing none, I'll move the minutes be adopted as presented. Those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. We'll move on item D1, an overview of the Bow Valley Parent Link expression of interest. Ms. Brown.
Hi there.
Hi. So you've been busy with this, huh?
It hasn't been boring, that's for sure. It's been interesting.
But there's no red tape involved in it, is there? Oop. Erase that.
All right. So good afternoon, Mayor, members of Council. I'm here today to talk about Bow Valley Parent Link. There'll be a lot of information in my presentation today, so if possible, could we please save questions to the end?
You got it.
Oh, no, that's not going to work. Here we go. So as you're aware, Bow Valley Parent Link has been operating since 2002. They provide evidence-based programs and services to families with children 0 to 6 years old. Programs and services are designed to help parents build a strong and resilient foundation for their children, which in turn builds a strong community. Bow Valley Parent Link serves families in ID9, Banff, Canmore, and MDA Bighorn, and all the programs are free. But early childhood development is changing across Alberta, and today I'm here to share with you some of those changes and to discuss new opportunities. I'll talk about the transformed funding model, the discontinuation of Parent Link funding, and the newly released Family Resource Network funding opportunity. But before I begin, I want to take a moment to thank Bow Valley Parent Link staff, who are all probably watching online right now, for their work and dedication to families across Alberta, or across Bow Valley. They are and have been an essential part of our community. So there are a few terms that I will be using throughout the presentation today, and they are universal programs, targeted programs, and intensive programs. So universal programs are programs that support an entire group. So in ParentLink, that's 0 to 6, families with children 0 to 6 years of age. Programs build protective factors and resilience. They're accessible to the entire group, and registration is usually not required. And some of our local programs are things like Active Family Play, Stay and Play, ParentLink in the Park, and our awareness campaigns. Targeted programs are aimed at a wide but selective group. Programs support individuals who need additional support for an acute challenge. Individuals usually self-identify. Some examples are fussy eating workshops, couples counseling, and infant sleep seminars. Intensive programs target a small group who need a substantial amount of support for a longer period of time. These families are often considered at risk. Presently, when these families are identified at ParentLink, we refer families to community partners, and we continue to support those families with universal and targeted programs. Okay, so with those terms in mind, I will start my presentation today with a discussion on the transformed model of funding for children's services. So the Government of Alberta announced the need for a transformed funding model for children's services in the 2019 budget. The budget talks about a need for prevention and early intervention programs to be standardized and align with research and the newly released framework, which is called the Wellbeing and Resiliency Framework. This framework outlines policies, services, and programs that prevent and aim to reduce the impact of early adversity by promoting well-being and resilience. The transformed model, or I'll refer it to the new funding model, will focus on providing a broad range of services for families for children 0 to 18 years. It will include a full continuum of prevention, including universal, targeted, and intensive services. But why change? The reason for the transformed model was summarized by MLA Miranda Rosen at the 2019 BOTA presentation. Ms. Rosen explained that the number of intervention cases across the province has not decreased, and as a result, something new is needed. This is a shift for ParentLink, where our goal was not to prevent intervention, but to instead simply build well-being and strong parenting foundations. It is important to note that although there has not been a reduction in the number of intervention cases across Alberta, the proportion of intervention cases across Alberta has been decreasing steadily. So even though Alberta has the youngest provincial population in Canada and has experienced significant growth, the proportion has been decreasing. In addition, Premier Kenney commented in his budget speech that Alberta is facing budget constraints, and as a result, Alberta will be asked to do more with fewer resources. And although Children's Services did receive additional dollars, funding for early intervention and prevention programs was reduced. And lastly, the next reason for the change is for the new framework for service delivery. So this new framework focuses on one funding model that provides a continuum of services and supports, as opposed to multiple funding models that have multiple outcomes, which is the current situation. So the new funding model, which I will explain in more detail shortly, provides each community with an estimated cost for providing services in a given area. Areas are determined by grouping close communities, and these areas are referred to as network areas. Network areas are then categorized as either small, medium, or large based on population and geographic land size. The Canmore and Banff network area include ID9 and the MD of Bighorn, and is considered a small network area. As a small network area, the province estimates the cost of providing children's services in our network area is between $350,000 and $499,999 annually, which across the Bow Valley means a funding reduction of between $60,000 and $210,000 annually. As part of this new funding model, the Bow Valley is being asked to do more with less. So just to reiterate, as a small network area, the potential funding available for early intervention and prevention services is between $350,000 and $499,000 per year. In this graph, The black line represents our current funding, approximately $560,000 per year. And the two green bars represent our potential new funding, $350,000 to $499,000 per year. In addition, as part of this new funding model, we are asked to do more with less. This pie represents the $560,000 we currently receive annually. The orange section is the approximate amount that we currently spend on or allocate to targeted programs for families with children 0 to 6. The blue is what we allocate to universal programs. The yellow represents the amount we allocate to data collection, collaboration, administration, and the green is the amount that Banff currently allocates to children's programming. Basically, within our current grants, we report on provincial outcomes, refer families to intensive support services as needed, collaborate with community partners, provide a comprehensive range of targeted and universal programs for children 0 to 6 years of age, research best practices, disseminate developmental research, and regularly complete professional training. Under the new funding model, we can still provide universal and targeted programs for children 0 to 6, and we can allocate a larger portion of our new funding to services for children 0 to 6. But we must also provide a continuum of services, including universal, targeted, and intensive services for children 0 to 18. This pie again symbolizes our current $560,000 per year. Under the Children's Services new funding model, we must expand our scope. In this chart, the black represents the 11% reduction in funding. The blue and the orange sections represent the amount we can allocate to universal and targeted programs for children 0 to 6. The gray areas represent the new programs that we must provide families with children 0 to 18. This chart assumes that we receive $499,000 per year, which is the upper end of what will be allocated to children's services in the Bow Valley. And this is what the chart looks like if the Bow Valley receives $350,000 per year, which is the lower end of the dollars available. Again, the black highlights the funding reduction, the blue and the orange highlight what we do now, and the gray highlights new services. So as part of this new funding model, on November 4th, the town of Canmore was notified that Parent Link's annual contract funding will end as of March 31st, 2020, and will not be renewed. As of right now, there is no funding for early childhood prevention and intervention programs after March 31st, and Parent Link staff have all received termination letters. The new funding opportunity was released on November 7th, and through this new funding model, we can apply to provide services through a family resource network, which I will refer to as an FRN. The anticipated start date for the Family Resource Network, or FRN, is April 1st, but timelines are tight, and we've been told to expect delays. It is important to note that no one organization is responsible for the FRN. Organizations can apply to provide services as part of an FRN. To apply, organizations must submit an application through an expression of interest by January 20, 2020, and we just recently got an extension. It was January 16th. As an applicant, we would be bidding for funding to provide a service in a given network area. All applicants will be evaluated for those services, and those who meet the provincial mandate will be invited to negotiate the cost of those services. The negotiation phase is expected to last from February 17th to March 20th, and the funding should be awarded prior to April 1st so that we can launch on April 1st. So as I mentioned, we can apply to provide services through an expression of interest, also known as an EOI. This is new to social services. Typically, one organization applies to do a program, and this includes many services. Through this competition, we bid on funding to provide a service in a given network area as part of an FRN, as part of the Family Resource Network. The province will negotiate the cost of that service with each organization and then organize all of the services into a hub and spoke model. Again, this is very different from Parent Link, where our program received funding for multiple services. Through negotiations, the province will decide which organizations will provide which service within our network area. Successful applicants will receive funding for 3 years with the opportunity to receive an additional 3 years, annually apply for an additional 3 years. So the FRN will be organized by the province into a hub and spoke model of care. The hub is a physical space, a place for people to go. It coordinates services, ensures that families move seamlessly between the different services, ensures a full continuum of services are offered, establishes key collaborations and relationships, collects data, and evaluates program impact. Only one organization per network area will be awarded as a hub service, and the hub does not fund the spokes. The spokes are all the provincially funded services that the hub must coordinate. The province will fund multiple spokes in a network area. A spoke can provide services in multiple locations, not just in the hub, in a given network area. A spoke can provide services in multiple network areas and connect with multiple hubs. And different organizations can apply to do different spokes. Organizations can apply for provincial funding to provide spoke services, or hub and spoke services. The province will review the applications, and the hubs and spoke services will be arranged in a hub and spoke model, and that will be called the Family Resource Network. So collectively, the FRN services must meet 3 core service delivery domains: child development and well-being, caregiver capacity building and support, and social connection and support. And every FRN must provide services for children 0 to 6 years of age, 7 to 13, and 14 to 18. And every FRN must provide a continuum of services: universal, targeted, and intensive. If a service is already in the community, organizations do not need to apply to provide and duplicate that service. But the hub must ensure that the children move seamlessly through the FRN services, whether it's funded by the province or not through the FRN. The hub must ensure that there are clear referral pathways between these services. So this is a diagram of what a hub and spoke model might look like within the Bow Valley. Each of these circles are services. The outer circles are spoke services, and the center is a hub service. Each of these services can be a different organization, and some spoke services may not even be funded through the Family Resource Network funding. Some spoke services may not even be based in the Bow Valley, but as long as they serve our entire network area, so from Lake Louise to MD at Bighorn, they may receive funding from the FRN. Again, whether funded by the Family Resource Network or not, a hub must ensure that there are clear referral pathways between the services so that no child falls between those cracks. So the question is, should we apply to provide FRN services? And if so, what services? We are well positioned to apply as an FRN. ParentLink staff have strong community relationships across the Bow Valley. We have a position dedicated to building community collaborations. We have experience in child development, caregiver capacity building, social connection services for families across the entire Bow Valley. ParentLink is part of Community Social Development Service Area, which also includes family and community support services. And FCSS has experience providing child development, caregiver capacity, social connection services to children and families. ParentLink and FCSS also work closely with the Recreation Department that has experience providing social connection services to children and families. So what are our next steps? To answer these questions, should we apply to the parent, or should we apply? The ParentLink team has been connecting with community partners to understand our community assets, our needs, and our challenges. We are currently trying to connect with organizations that may potentially apply for FRN services within Canmore or Banff or the network area. And we are exploring a variety of potential FRN service opportunities. This will play out over the next couple months. Tonight we are hosting a community conversation where we'll be meeting with parents to share the same information with them. And parents have asked for this meeting because they're deeply concerned about these changes. On January 14th, we'll be back at Council to present our application and ask for Council's approval to submit the application. And if approved, we will hand deliver the application package no later than 2 p.m. on January the 20th. Now, to prevent disclosure of proposed plans associated with the pending policy or budgetary decisions in accordance with Section 24(1)G of the Freedom of Information Act, I'd like to request that Council motion to move the remainder of the presentation to in-camera.
All right, then I'll move that the committee of the whole go in camera at this time. Those in support? Opposed? We're in camera. Bye. I was aiming right at you. Okay, we're out of in camera. Moving on to item D2, 2019 report to the community, Ms. Denage. That's because I was looking at you.
All right, good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I'm Robin Denage. I'm here to provide you with the 2019 report to the community, which is a report on the first year of your 2019 to 2022 goals and strategic priorities. So why are we doing this now? Well, actually, I'm in front of you a few weeks early, but usually at the start of the year, administration reports to council on the performance of the previous year, because ultimately our success, both as an organization and as a community, is measured by how well the whole organization provides service and moves us towards the vision. As well, it's part of the Town of Canmore's integrated planning cycle that you see on the screen here, which is a holistic approach to strategic planning that links the vision, the goals, and the strategic priorities to the annual business plan and budget. As you know, the strategic priorities that you created last year have guided the development of the annual budget and business plan and the specific actions that were taken throughout the year to move those strategic priorities forward. In the report, each goal area is separated by color and identifying icon, and if you're reading the electronic version, there are hyperlinks to all the reports that are referenced in the annual report. So just simply hover over the words with your mouse and you'll see which reports are linked. So I won't go into the details of the report's content, as the report speaks to what was done in each area, and you also received progress reports throughout the year in the quarterly updates. But I do want to say, on behalf of the organization, that we are very proud to report that we made tremendous progress in some of Council's priority areas. And of course, while there's still a few areas where we weren't able to make quite as much progress as we'd hoped for, plans are in place to address those issues in 2020 or other future multi-year capital projects. So that is the end of my very brief presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Whoa, that was quick. Quick summary of a year's work.
The report's not that much longer.
Sure.
Very brief.
I share your observation that when you go through a report like this, it all comes back to you how much we actually have done in a year's time, which is always an interesting part of the strat planning that we do and we will do in January, is reviewing and talking about the successes and work we've done. I don't have any questions in regards to the report. I don't know if other members of council do or not, but I don't see any lights going up. So
As a quick follow-up to something you had asked me offline, you were wondering whether the grant for the other solar application that we made was approved, the one that's referenced in the report, and both grants were successful.
Right. Yeah, I saw that actually in the service area report, so it was noted there. But thanks very much.
Thank you.
Moving on then to item E1, council updates, and I'll just open the mics for any questions regarding to those updates. Seeing none. Moving on then to item F1, which is service area reports. And we'll move through the offices as usual. I don't have anything. The CAO's office. Question in regards to municipal services, community social development. So the first item Administration is working with Biosphere to add 3 additional indicators to the report, one of which is feral rabbits. So I'm just curious what sort of data or what indicators there might be for rabbits.
So the only indicators we have for rabbits are number of rabbits trapped every year.
Right?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yep, pretty much. We don't have any, we never have known how many are in the
No,
community.
I know.
But we do track trapping location and, yeah.
Okay, thanks. Other questions from anybody? Under municipal services, corporate services, municipal infrastructure. Councillor Comfort?
Sorry, my question's for Public Works, I guess.
That's okay.
I just wanted to compliment them on their initiatives for keeping the handicap stalls cleared, because it's become an issue for me for a couple of years now, but I know it is for other people, and I know in the wintertime it's particularly nasty. So I would like to thank Streets and Roads for taking particular care and to have the spaces cleared, which is great. And the walkways also. That's all.
Okay. Again, in the same vein, just an observation, it's great to see that we've actually got down to shortlisted proponents for the Cougar Creek project. Look forward to that moving along. And it is noted here that the grants were all approved for the solar projects. That's also great. Councillor Sanford?
Thank you, Mayor Barman. Along those lines, I'm looking at the Parks Mountain Pine Beetle program, and it sounds like community members can assess trees on their own private property and bring them to the attention of the town. Is that correct? So are we, we're asking people to report to the town if there's mountain pine bark beetle activity on their private property? And then is that going to become part of the mountain pine bark beetle removal program?
So thank you for the question. I had noticed that in the report around the town communication piece. To my understanding, that has not been fully flushed out with communications yet, but I will connect with Andreas on that and then get back to council with more information.
Okay, because it says till mid-December, so.
There are ads out, they've been,
Oh,
you just said, okay,
if there's something on that.
okay.
okay. I just wasn't aware that individuals could report to the town. And so if people don't really know about it, then you haven't heard from them, right?
In the ads.
Okay, so there has been some advertising? Okay. All right, thank you.
Bless you. Just a question that pops to mind when reading about the current success with the organic food waste program. And the question I've been asked this by residents from time to time. So is there what would it look like if we tried to establish a secondary part of the program where we actually brought back to Canmore small amounts of the compost and had a bin up at the Elk Run or the Boulder Crescent facility so that people that want to have compost for their home gardening could then be using the compost from our organics. Has that ever been considered, or?
I don't know that it's ever been considered. I can certainly follow up and ask about the viability of that and get back to council.
That'd be great. Yeah, I'm thinking about some of the people that have been doing their own backyard composting, even though they knew it wasn't appropriate, but they're gardeners and they wanted to have compost, and maybe they're not using our composting because they still want to have that compost. So thanks if you, I mean, there's no urgency, just curious. Look into that. Any other questions in regards to the service area reports? Seeing none, I'll move on to G1. I did have a couple questions this time. So the two motions, 129 and 130, 2019, around developing a bridging document and creating the round table. I know we've had some discussions in other meetings about that. The motions were to bring them, both those things, back in late fall of 2019. Just where are we right now on that, do you think, timeline?
On the bridging document?
Bridging document and the creation of the round table, the two separate motions?
Yeah, so the roundtable, we've been encouraging TCK to start that, not to wait. But I believe they are waiting for the bridging document, and I actually just today got a draft of the bridging document, so we'll be trying to bring that forward in the new year, and then having a conversation about that roundtable.
Okay.
At that time.
Great. I suppose I could also ask Councillor Seeley, given he sits on the board, for his knowledge.
Yeah, although he's not here, so it'd be tricky to ask him right now. But
I'm thinking afterwards. Don't be cute.
I'm just.
Okay.
Sorry, can you just so.
No.
Ms. McClett, Eleanor McClett, the manager of economic development, has done a draft of the bridging document, given it to TCK for their comments, and then just recently received it back from them. So we are just finalizing it internally. So TCK has seen it.
Great. Thank you very much. I think that's all we got. So I'll move the committee whole be adjourned. Those in favor? We're adjourned.